This video is for creators who want to get the best sounding audio quality possible for their videos. This is going to work brilliantly whether you publish to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, have a podcast, a live stream, or anywhere else you want to publish your content to. Audio quality is just as important as good video quality, yet it's the area where most creators fall short. This is an example of typical badly recorded phone audio. Doesn't sound great, right? But it could sound like this. So here's a little clip with the Connect 6 running into the iPhone and the iPhone capturing using the LEWITT LCT 440 Pure and then all of the effects from the Connect 6. Want to know what makes the difference? Well, join me over the next few minutes as I share the absolute fastest, bare bones, essential best practices that will help you to level up your audio in no time. And this will work even if you're only recording with a phone and a couple of accessories. Ready? Let's get into it. To get high quality audio, you need skills, yeah, but you also need equipment and software. If you're serious about making it as a creator, then you need to put aside a budget to invest in your gear, but you don't need to spend an arm and a leg. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to be smart and strategic, getting the right tools for the job without spending a cent more than you need to. And that brings us to the sponsor of this video, LEWITT. LEWITT makes some of the most affordable yet powerful and high quality pieces of kit for creators. In this video, I'm going to be demoing their LCT 440 Pure condenser mic and their Connect 6 audio interface. Don't worry if you don't have these specific pieces of equipment because the majority of what I'm going to show you can be implemented on any setup, but I am going to point out a couple of key reasons why you might want to seriously consider this specific setup. I chose the Connect 6 for this video because it has an arsenal of super useful features that not many other interfaces have. It has USB-C and you can connect it directly to a mobile device like your phone or tablet, which is awesome. You don't have to use this whole separate computer setup and then sync everything in post. It can charge devices if the Connect 6 is plugged into a power source. Plus it has onboard DSP effects, so you can sweeten your audio with things like compressors and EQs without buying additional software, getting it better at the source. Plus, it has additional useful features like loopback and software routings so that you can capture audio from apps that you might want to feature, like say a DAW like Ableton Live or anything making sound on your computer, and you can route that directly into your video or your stream. So all of these make it a Swiss Army knife when it comes to a device for creators. So here's my first tip. Tip number one is get your audio as clean as possible at the source and optimize your recording environment as much as you're able to. Now, some of you may be shooting in nicely dialed studios with acoustic treatment, that's great, but you don't always get a chance to work in those types of spaces. I know for me, I'm working in a studio right now that doesn't have any acoustic treatment in it. I'm in a family room of my house, and it's a pretty echoey, reflective space. I'm just gonna move away from the mics right now and speak a little louder, and you can really hear the echoiness and the ambience of this room. You also want to watch out for things like fans. So your computer might have a fan, your video lighting might have fans, your cameras might have fans. All of that stuff is going to add to the hiss and the noise floor in your audio. Also, things like appliances and heaters that might come on intermittently while recording. Just do your best to try and distance yourself from those things or unplug them or optimize your environment as much as possible. Our game plan here is to use the LEWITT LCT 440 Pure, which is a condenser mic. I like condenser mics because of the amount of detail they capture, especially in the high end. Just so you have a frame of reference to be able to compare the sound, this is a dynamic mic, a Rode Procaster. We're going to need an audio interface to be able to capture the analog signal that the mic produces and convert it into a digital signal that your computer can record. By the way, if you don't want to use a computer, stay tuned because I'm going to show you in a couple of moments how this whole setup can be plugged directly into your phone. The Connect 6 interface is a bit of a secret weapon here because it has onboard effects that can deal with things like background noise and room reflections before they get baked into your recording. To be able to access this, you just install the free LEWITT Control Center app and then launch it on your computer. You just want to record solid audio without having to become an audio engineer, right? Well, this does that for you. Here's the LEWITT Control Center app. I have the mic plugged into input 1, and you can see we're getting some level. And they have this auto setup feature. You just click that, you choose what type of microphone you're using. In this case, we're using the LCT440 Pure Condenser, and it allows you to customize your audio for what you want to do. In this case, we're going to be talking. And then we can tell it if we're live streaming or if we're recording. I'm recording. And then we can test the sound. So I'm just going to go ahead and start the measurement. Awesome. So now you can see it's customized a few of the settings and it's set the gain level. And that's probably the most important thing that people get wrong, is the correct gain level so that you're not clipping or distorting your audio by recording too loud. Now, I'm also going to add the expander and the compressor. We don't need to do a masterclass on what those things are, but the expander is going to help you to remove background noise from your room. And the compressor is going to let you get your signal nice and loud and consistent. Then we click Finish Setup, and we're all ready to go. I'm not going to change any other settings except for one, and that is enabling the maximizer. The maximizer is a limiter effect that will bring up the level of your audio even a little bit more, and it can help you get up to the level that you need to be, for example, for publishing YouTube videos. Tip number 2 is to get the ideal distance from your mic. If you're too far away from your mic, you're going to hear mostly the sound of your room and the reflections and echoes in your recording environment, and that's not good. But if you get too close to your mic, you run the risk of getting things like breaths sounding really loud, especially when you process your audio, and things like sibilants, the S's and the F's, and plosives, puh, things like that, getting really loud in your mix, and that becomes more problematic to deal with in post. So you want to get to this ideal distance from your mic. I like to have my mic within about a foot from me in this type of environment, but I don't want it so close that it's dominating the frame. Speaking of which, form factor of the mic is another thing when you're on video. You know, if you take this, the Procaster, this is huge. This is a big fat mic. And when I have it in my frame, it tends to dominate the frame, and it can sometimes take the focus away from me and the message that I'm trying to convey. So mic form factor is nice. And for this, I really like the LCT440 Pure because it's small. I can kind of tuck it at the bottom of the frame. It's there, but it isn't really large and in charge. The final thing I'll say is you want to use a mic that has a pop filter. So that is what this is on the very end. And the LCT440 has a really sexy magnetic and low form factor pop filter. And that just helps to break up things like plosives and breaths that could otherwise be affecting your audio. Another quick one I want to throw in there is making sure you're speaking into the correct part of your microphone. You'd think that's a no-brainer, but there are 2 different types of mics. There are front address mics that you speak into the end of, like this. Most dynamic mics are front address mics. And then there are mics that are side address mics. Typically the condensers are side address mics, and you actually speak directly into the side of the microphone. I can't tell you the number of times I've seen kind of amateur creators that don't know much about audio taking a condenser mic and rotating it and speaking into the end of it like it's a front address dynamic mic, and just listen to what that does to the sound, right? When you get here and you have the mic positioned, make sure you are speaking into the correct part of your microphone. Tip number 3 is to monitor your audio. How do you know if you've gotten your mic distance correct in your processing? Unless you listen to it. So you're going to use headphones to be able to monitor your audio either while you're recording or in a test recording before you go to your main. I love the LEWITT Connect 6 for this because I'm always using different sets of headphones and I don't always have adapters with me. So the Connect 6 actually has 2 headphone outputs. One of them uses a stereo mini plug 1/8 inch and the other one uses a 1/4 inch. So it doesn't matter which type of headphone you're using, you can connect it without reaching for adapters. In the Connect 6, you can also customize the headphone mix on each output. So if you're recording with a guest, you can send the exact mix that you want to that guest, and it's no fuss at all. You want to try and find an interface that has 0 latency monitoring. And that just means that you're not hearing any type of delay due to the signal going into and out of your computer that causes your voice to be a couple milliseconds behind. You want a 0 latency direct monitoring option. A lot of interfaces have this, make sure yours does. The Connect 6 does, so you're able to hear exactly what's going on in real time with the effects baked in, so you get a great picture of exactly what your audio is going to sound like. The key here is being able to work quickly and efficiently. So in this case, I like the auto setup wizard in the Connect 6 because it just dials it in for me without me having to adjust a whole bunch of things manually and do a bunch of test recordings. It just lets me work smarter, not harder. Now let's take a look at how to do this using the Connect 6 and your phone. To start off, we're going to have everything connected as we just did with a computer in the equation because we're going to use the LEWITT Control Center app to be able to set things up. So if you take a look at Control Center, you'll see in the bottom right, there is a section for the mobile out. You're going to start off by taking your phone. In this case, I'm using an iPhone 12 Pro. And I'm going to connect the lightning cable to the phone and the other end of the lightning cable to the Connect 6 mobile output. Control Center will read the mobile connection and show you a mobile out here, and you can control the level of your mix directly to the device. Then from that point forwards, we want to make sure that the Connect 6 has an external power source connected to it. In this case, I'm using the provided LEWITT USB-C to USB-A cable and a regular iPhone charging cube. So we'll get that connected. Once it reads the power from the external source, you can unplug everything from the computer. Now the Connect 6 will preserve the exact same settings, but now you can use the knob on the front of the Connect 6 to be able to control things like the input gain on your mic. Then inside your phone, you can either open up an app like Instagram and record directly there, or you can use its built-in camera. In this case, I'm going to use the built-in camera. I'll flip over to video mode and we'll record a quick little clip. So here's a little clip with the Connect 6 running into the iPhone and the iPhone capturing using the LEWITT LCT 440 Pure and then all of the effects from the Connect 6. If we just leave this video clip running and then unplug the lightning cable from the iPhone, then the phone will revert back to using the built-in mic. And that's what that sounds like. So boom, there you go. It's actually that easy. You can ditch the laptop and have a professional audio setup shooting just with your phone. This is really great. I've been doing some YouTube shorts lately and some TikTok videos, and this is going to be my new go-to setup. Our fourth and final tip is to have a game plan for processing and sweetening your audio in post. Now, the LEWITT Connect 6 with all the built-in effects is ace, but let's say you're not using a device that has built-in effects like that. Or maybe you're concerned about using the built-in effects because you don't want a possible mistake in your settings to be permanently recorded into your audio. Either way, sometimes you're going to be recording audio that is more raw and it's going to need some sweetening. One of the biggest mistakes I see creators make on YouTube is not processing their audio enough in post. And so they have audio that either jumps around all over the place or it's just not loud enough. And having dodgy audio like that is a surefire way to make sure that people will quickly click away from your video and never hear your message. Now, audio processing is a super deep topic, and I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty and granular details. I'm going to focus on two really key things here that are going to be super simple for you guys to get. One of them is just getting the level of your audio consistent throughout your video and getting the loudness up to a level that your video will now be able to stand alongside other videos that have been professionally produced on whatever platform you're publishing to, and they will sound consistent with those videos. So let's get into it. We're going to use some audio from a recent YouTube short that I shot and process it. I'm inside of Ableton Live here, but with the tools I'm going to show you, you can actually use any application, even free ones like Audacity or GarageBand. My approach is to use only a couple of plugins to be able to get the desired result. I liked with the LEWITT Connect 6 how it had the auto setup assistant that just dialed in the parameters for you. And my approach in processing in post is going to be the same as that. We are going to use plugins from Sonable, which have an AI-assisted process that will configure all of the parameters for you. These are new plugins from Sonable that they just released, and they are the easiest to use, fastest way to get these type of results. The first plugin we're going to use is called Pure Comp, and it's a compressor. And what the compressor is going to do is it's going to even out variations in the volume of the recorded audio and get the signal nice and consistent, as well as making it louder. We can use the drop-down menu to choose the type of audio we're processing. In this case, it's speech. And then we just use this little record button and feed it some audio from the signal. Today, I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering and you want to use some saturation. I'm using, after the recording process is done, it reveals this one single knob that you literally just turn up until you get the processing in the sweet spot. So let's do that. Today, I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering and you want to use some saturation. I'm using the Black Box Analog Design HD2MS. There we go. Couldn't be simpler. There are other parameters you can use to customize, but honestly, I'm not even going to touch them in this case. So now we'll move on to the next effect, which is also from Sonable, and this is called Pure Limit. And the limiter is going to get the mastered level up to the point where it will be loud enough to stand alongside other videos on your platform. We do the same thing as we did with PureComp. We choose the type of material we're processing, speech, and we're going to feed it some signal while the AI engine listens to the audio and customizes the settings. Today I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering and you want to use some saturation. I'm using the Black Box Analog Design HD2MS on my master to add. There we go. We get the same one knob approach. Love that. Super simple. And we can just turn it up until we get into the sweet spot. Today I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering. There's one other feature on this plugin that I like, and that's the inflate. And it allows you to increase the apparent loudness a little bit while also introducing a bit more bass level. And that's actually quite nice for voice audio. It's nice to have that bassy bottom end to the audio. So let's just turn that up a little bit. Today I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering and you want to use some saturation. Awesome, there we go. Now with these effects, how do you know if enough is enough and when you've gone too far? Well, that is where you bring in a loudness meter. This is a totally free plugin called Julian Loudness Meter 2, and it shows you how loud your signal is. Each platform that you publish to is going to have a loudness standard, and it's good to keep your audio within that range. On YouTube, it's -14 LUFS. I'm not going to go into what LUFS are, but if you load up this free meter and you run your audio, you should be sitting around -14 to have your video so that it won't be adjusted in terms of the platform turning up or turning down your audio. So let's just see where we're sitting at. Today I want to show you a quick tip that you can use if you're treating a mix bus or mastering and you want to use some saturation. And there we go. We're pretty much right on the money at -14 LUFS. So there we go. 3 plugins. One of them's free. 2 of them are very inexpensive from Sonable. And there you are, up and running and sweetening your audio at a professional level very, very quickly. So there you have it. Some simple steps to up your audio game big time while keeping your investment into new equipment and skills to a minimum. I hope this will set you up to be in a better creative flow, allowing you to focus on making videos and sharing your message rather than fussing around with expensive and difficult to use equipment that just gets in your way. Your output of quality content is what really matters as a creator, and I hope this video has set you up to do exactly that. So that's a wrap. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.